everyone. Today I figured let's talk about who this mysterious girl is that appeared at the end of episode 24 of the Nier Automata anime. The first half of this video is going to explain on who she is and what we know about her so far. The second half of this video, I am going to go into the hidden reports from the Nier Automata anime, as well as the hidden reports that are on the box set of the Blu-ray edition. Because thank you, Yoko Taro, for putting hidden lore on the box set too, said no sane person ever. With these reports, I wonder if we have more information on who this Group B is. As Accord is tied directly to the end of Drakengard 3 and the ending of the Nier Automata anime, this video will go into spoilers. But with that spoiler warning out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about it. Accord is an android created in the Kingdom of Night. Accord was originally created along with dragons by something like humans in the Kingdom of Night. But Yoko Taro wouldn't explain this in any other detail. According to the official timeline, the Army of Humanity created the so-called dragon weapons to fight in the war against the aliens in 6230. He also mentioned that Accord's creations may have something to do with the dragons, but he didn't elaborate on this point either, since it would get overly complicated. The definition of what is considered human during this time is unclear. In other words, the Army of Humanity, androids are often labeled as the current figureheads of humanity. So it could be possible that the faction of the androids currently fighting the war against the aliens in the Kingdom of Night were the ones to initially create Accord. According to Yoko Taro, just like Emil, the original Accord is floating around in the world. The exact number of Accords is always expanding, so there is no exact number to how many of them are out there. According to an interview with Yoko Taro, Accord's job is to observe singularities. The end. Those were his words exactly. Now here's what a singularity is according to Accord from Drakengard 3. Singularities: persons, places, or things that can trigger a divergence or branch across multiple worlds. Branch phenomena occur when enough magic particles are in an area and all relevant conditions are met. However, a singularity is not recorded as such until after a branch occurs. Now, in that same interview I talked about with Yoko Taro, he is asked about what the fall down is. He says the fall down refers to the event in which every single timeline disappears or is annihilated. She's actually working to prevent that from happening. The end. Way to be short and to the point. And then a quick note here about the play. At one point, Yoko Taro stated that the Accord that appears in Yorha version 1.3a was never said to be male. The cast is male, so it's easy to make that assumption. However, this was not a male version of Accord. That was a female Accord. He decided from the beginning that there was only female type Accord androids. No male types exist. He also apparently didn't say anything about it to the actor or Matsuda, who is the director of the play. Yoko Taro said no one asked him, so he didn't say anything. He said, I could see from the director's standpoint that it would have been nice to know everything about the character ahead of time in order to give the necessary direction and advice to the actor, but this is sort of a if story to begin with, so it doesn't really matter either way. Her very first physical appearance was in Drakengard 3 at the end of Branch A, but early on in the game you did see a sign with a note from her for a weapons shop, and that is basically how she's referenced in Nier Replicant and Nier Automata as well. In Nier Replicant, Yona's journal talks about a woman named Accord with a big suitcase that she carries around. She sells stuff to the merchants, and that's about all you get from her with Nier Replicant. And in Nier Automata, the weapons trader also makes reference to her. She also made an appearance in the Nier Reincarnation game and the Sinnoh Alice game as well. Now, from what I read from the Accord novella, she does gather weapons and sells them to merchants, but she also seems to be able to remove some of the curses as well. So if you see in the weapons stories talk about curses that are attached to these weapons, and you wonder why they don't seem to impact Kaim, 2B, or Nier, or any other characters that we play as in this universe, it is more than likely because Accord removed them. The reason we do not see much of her in the universe is because she's not supposed to interfere with the affairs of the world. She is a recorder and sends that information to the old world. Now I bring up this next part because this ties into the old world where Accord came from. In the year 856, the Great Disaster occurs, which brings dragons, watchers, and otherworldly creatures to Midgard, while at the same time a mysterious city mysteriously appears. In 865, 11 years later, this mysterious, seemingly modern city would be called the Cathedral City. What the cathedral itself was is still unknown. Now throughout Drakengard 3, you hear Accord's voice as a narrator telling Zero's story, and like I stated earlier, once you've completed Branch A, you actually see her. After you've completed Branch C, you unlock the Lost Verses. Accord was monitoring Zero. Zero is a singularity from the Drakengard universe. She even stated in the game that she is not to interfere with the world, but no one says she couldn't give any advice at least. And you can see she's starting to grow attached to Zero. Zero explains in the game that the flower in her eye is the main antagonist of Drakengard 3. It is unknown where the flower came from. There is speculation that it came from the black flower that we see in one of the Dragon Dragoon mangas, but as of right now, as far as I know, nothing's been confirmed. found. It's first appeared to Zero when she was dying from her wounds, making it the last thing she saw. The flower went into Zero's body, making her an intoner, which is a godlike being with tremendous powers. Zero tried to get rid of it by digging it out of her, but it failed, and the flower could sense hostility that Zero had for it, and it created 5 intoners, or copies of Zero, as we all know of as her sisters. They each received a fragment of her power. Accord we see throughout the game trying to help Zero and give her advice to stop the flower. Accord is trying to find a branch where humanity and the world would be permanently safe from the flower's threat. And during the events of Branch D, Zero was losing the battle and Accord jumped in to help her with their fight. Accord sacrificed herself to help Zero. Mikhail then has to fight the dragon at the end of the game. The only known way a flower could be destroyed was with the power of a dragon. According to Michael, dragons have an existence deeply connected to the flower. Once Mikhail defeats the flower, the intoners were sealed off in another world, and Accord says that there is a chance in another time and branch the seal could be broken, and that she has a feeling somewhere, somehow, that Zero is still alive, and that someday Accord will see her again. With that said, now that we fast forward 10 years since Dragon Guard 3 came out, and now we see the Nier Automata anime, if you blink, you might miss some of these hidden reports that Accord is dropping to us. There are 2 reports in each episode, and then there's hidden reports throughout the physical copy of the Blu-ray box set. So with that, we'll jump into the second half of this video and go over these reports. Episode 1, Report 1. Androids are beings that repeat life and death. Then Report 2. Will the chain of reincarnation bring salvation or collapse? Episode 2, Report 1. Pseudo-intelligence existence in mechanical life forms. Report 2 says, what difference does it make to human intelligence? Also, both of these reports between both episodes, you can see flashes of the words resistance, Yorha, and Council of Humanity over and over again. Not really sure why that is. Episode 3, Report 1. In order to break out of this blockage, even certain dangers, and then it cuts off. Report 2. It could be gospel for us. I promise love of the eternity. Episode 4, Report 1. What you get by pretense is meaningless evaluation. Report 2. By assuming that, aren't you pretending to be something you're not? This is an interesting episode and report because this is the episode when 9S, 2B, and Lily and Jackass are discussing how the machines are evolving and trying to become more human. Episode 5, Report 1. Remnant units of replicated magical weapons from the old world were found. Report 2 says this individual who is nearing the end of his function must be happy. This is the episode when they meet Pascal and you find Emile in the tree. Episode 6, Report 1. Since this record is inherent in the branch that has been abandoned. Report 2. This record is based on oral history after rejoining. This is when we see what happens during the Pearl Harbor descent mission, and people online started realizing that these reports were from Accord. Episode 7, Report 1. It is interesting to note that under any circumstances, a hierarchy relationship similar to that of an organization is created. Report 2. For beings who have reached a certain level of intelligence, it is survival strategy and karma. These are interesting reports considering this is the episode when A2 makes an appearance. Episode 8, Report 1. Uncertain oscillations occur in the observation area. Report 2. Requesting dispatch of a detachment to identify the cause and follow-up. Episode 9, Report 1. Despite the lack of interference, the reachability of Adam and Eve's individuals is indeterminate. Report 2. The distant factors of the split have now been requested to be investigated in the 12th round. What is the 12th round? Episode 10, Report 1. We know that mankind has always sought external causes for its problems. No, humans would never do anything like that. Report 2. The occurrence of religious-like phenomena within the machine life group would be an imitation of such human records. Episode 11, Report 1. The mutation situation in the vicinity of this branch is beginning to differ from that of the record. Report 2. Continued progress observations shall be made. Yeah, I'd say there's a difference in the record because the previous record, it was Eve who survived, not Adam. Episode 12, Report 1. During the previous battle, mechanical life forms and androids, the predecessor disappeared. Report 2. Investigate carefully, including the possibility of mutation to Group B. So with this, that actually ends part 1 of the series, but I want to share now the reports from the box sets because this box set also covers the first 12 episodes. And I also have a theory about what this Group B is. One of the hidden reports that's on the outer box, it's a report on 2B headed to the factory, but then we have another report on this box set that is about 2B and 9S. Scheduled report on Yorha Unit 2B. 2B is the subject of observation for this assignment. Is relatively silent for a typical Yorha unit. Due to the nature of this mission, she is often paired with 9S, yet 2B rarely speaks, responding to 9S's chatter with only sure, or yes. However, her somber demeanor has captured 9S's heart. Throughout all ages and all cultures, it is said that when a man sees the mirage of a woman like this, he desires to pursue her. Let's remember that if 2B is purposely behaving as such, it is bad, and if she's doing it unconsciously, it's even worse. This will be added to the association's agenda for next time, but if her behavior is out of guilt for her role, there is nothing we can do. I feel very, very sorry for her. Well, damn. Even Accord sees the tragedy in their relationship. Now, this is where the reports get really interesting. Notice regarding the operations outlines of the pod systems used in Project Yorha. The pending pod system in its entirety will be divided and operated into 5 groups A to E. A. Lunar Council of Humanities Group. B. Machine Lifeform Counteraction Group. C. Network Management Group. D. Project Implementation Group. E. Unit Record and Observation Group. Pod 042 will serve as Group E to capture irregularities of Yorha Unit 2B until further notice. This record will be disposed of after confirmation. That is all. So there's not much known about Group B. It was mentioned in the phone game Alice, but I'm wondering if this Group B is part of the pod system that she's talking about right here. Machine Lifeform Counteraction Group. It's the next closest answer we've gotten to what this Group B is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And then we have another report. Progress report interim. A large-scale network of machine lifeforms was destroyed by Yorha Squadron, to which the Singularity 2B had belonged. However, regarding the abnormal machine lifeforms, codenames Adam and Eve, we have confirmed that Eve was destroyed first, followed by Adam. Since the phenomenon is different from what was planned, it is suspected that a divergence occurred in the past. A request for assistance with this investigation has been submitted to the association. In conjecture, from the spatial temporal distance, we suspect the Singularity 2B and the Singularity 9S had a significant impact. Since they have a complementary relationship, simultaneous observation will continue going forward. That is all. So this was our confirmation that 2B and 9S are also singularities, as well that Accord has been monitoring them, but I had mentioned this back in my episode 17 breakdown as well. Then we have another interesting report, entry Pod 042, titled Preliminary Records, Yorha Unit 2B. Record. An unexpected error occurred while checking the action of records of Yorha Unit 2B. From the duration of this pod's accompaniment and support. Record. An error occurred during the data deletion process. Complete deletion is no longer possible. Record. This data is comprised of daily confirmation data with Yorha Unit 2B. Record. The cause of the error originates from a storage system or within the unit's judgment system. Record. And then it's nothing but blank. Record. This record will be set to read access denied after media storage is complete. Record. End of report. Wonder what's happening here. Looks like Pod's trying to hide something. Then we have one more report, and it's a machine translation, and it reads, in the midst of an eternal battle, a light encountered, a touch of gentle hope turned to pain, unforgivable emotions, a future bond in chains. This must be punishment. She killed. In the eternal battle, the life we met, in the meaningless world of sand, it became the only meaning. A future that was set up, a lie repeated. This should be a revelation. He prayed. This is sounding similar to the dialogue at the beginning of the series when 2B is talking about never-ending cycles. Alright, with that one out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the second half of the series. Episode 13, Report 1. Referring to the record when the object of observation was not a singularity. Report 2. The subject is performing similar actions in all branches. So this tells me that at some point 2B was not looked at as a singularity. I read this report as when she was fulfilling her day-to-day tasks as 2E, she wasn't breaking any cycles, so she wasn't considered a singularity at the time. But what do you guys think this is? Episode 14, Report 1. The final operation of Yorha unit was launched. Report 2. Interfering with this operation is strictly prohibited. As we all know, the final stages of Project Yorha are beginning. Episode 15, Report 1. Partial records are missing due to an attack from Group B. Report 2. A number of mutations have been identified in this branch. Be careful to see if alterations of the singularity takes place. As we know and saw in this episode, it was definitely playing out very differently from Route C that we saw in the game. So I think that's what she's talking about in these reports. Also, I'm still wondering if Group B, I really wonder if it is this machine lifeform counteraction group. Episode 16, Report 1. The alternation of singularities occurred as scheduled. Report 2. Completed the takeover of the observation target. This, sadly, as we know, I read this as things are going as scheduled with 2B's death, and we know the observation target moved from 2B to A2. Episode 17, Report 1. An incident of insurrection occurred in the association. It has been suppressed and is currently being investigated in detail. Report 2. Discussion is underway on the impact of A2's presence on another branch. As I've said in the past, this shows that Accord to me was watching A2 and to see what kind of impact A2 has on these other branches. So I see this as now Accord is monitoring the next singularity. A2. Also, this insurrection occurred in the association. I wonder if within the Accord network, they were trying to interfere with a branch like we saw in Drakengard 3. Episode 18, Report 1. All situations are worse than expected. Report 2. I can't do anything, and I don't even know what to do. How can I? Episode 19, Report 1. An incident of insurrection occurred in the association. It has been suppressed and is currently being investigated in detail. Report 2. Since many records of the branch were destroyed, a restoration plan is urgently needed. Episode 20, Report 1. Why is it that the words produced by machine lifeforms function as if they were a prophecy? Report 2. We have to predict the worst possible conclusion. Episode 21, Report 1. All things in form perish. Report 2. Even if it is a group of us, it is the same. These reports I also feel like described how we felt at this point. By the time we got to this episode, it feels like we're just losing everyone. We've lost the resistance, Pascal and the machines are gone, and it just seems like all is lost. Episode 22, Report 1. Unscheduled behavior was observed throughout the pod system. Report 2. Advise the association to treat it as an extended observation target. Episode 23, Report 1. Traces of Group B false invasion were confirmed. Currently collecting information. Report 2. 2 investigators have disappeared. Reinforcement to this branch was requested. Episode 24, Report 1. Urgent report on 2B and 9S. Report 2. It has been discovered that the survival of 2 individuals is likely connected to the Great Calamity. All members of the association are notified to observe at maximum alert level. Alright, so since the second box set doesn't come out till December in Japan, I'm sure we're going to see more reports on these box sets as well. So for now, we'll just have to wait and see. Also, there are 2 more drama CDs that are with these box sets that were only released in Japan, which I'm sure there's more information on those as well. I'm hoping someone puts a translation up for those drama CDs soon. But now we've come to the end of Nier Automata anime, and we see that she has made her appearance. She winks at the audience, and this isn't her first time breaking the fourth wall. We saw it at the end of Drakengard 3, where she thanks the fans for playing. But just like what I said at the episode 24 breakdown, what does this Great Calamity mean? Are we going to see the Intoners again? Also, why would she bring back A2? A2 I feel like would have been happier in the afterlife with her family, so it's interesting to bring her back. Unless there is either 1, a way to bring back her family, or 2, she reminded me of a meal. We saw at the end of episode 24, A2 says, "My reason to live is to take this world that I connected with all of you and protected these feelings that I've been entrusted with." Just like Emil, if she is needed to protect the world that connected her with her family, I think she will do what she needs to do to protect it. We sadly did not get any new announcements from Yoko Taro at Tokyo Game Show, so we shall have to wait and see and keep talking about the different theories that everyone has. Let me know what you guys think. And thank you again for your continued support. Link in the description if you would like to join my Discord channel as well. And don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.